William Faulkner wrote his most famous novels here at this mansion in the woods. He named it Rowan Oak, for a Scottish tree that was a symbol of security and peace. He lived here from 1930 until his death in 1962. From this place, Faulkner examined what he called his postage stamp world, the small area of northeastern Mississippi where he found inspiration. William Griffith is curator of what is now the William Faulkner Roanoke Museum, owned by the University of Mississippi.
He was really the first writer to write about the modern South, to break the old antebellum code and write about the modern South, a South that was torn between modern development and the old traditional ways of the past.
Novels like The Sound and the Fury told of dysfunctional Southern families set against a decaying region. Faulkner also took jobs writing screenplays in Hollywood using this portable typewriter. He was a writer on famous movies like The Big Sleep and To Have and Have Not, starring Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall.
You know, Steve, I wouldn't put it past you.
Back at home at Roanoke, in his rear study, he worked on the plot of his Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, A Fable, jotting notes on the walls. One of Faulkner's most compelling novels is Light in August. The central character is a white man who believes he has some African-American blood. In this book, Faulkner throws a harsh light on the South's racial divisions years before the Civil Rights Movement swept many of them away. University of Mississippi professor Ted Owenby says Faulkner's novel showed the absurdity of racism.
And it's not just a book about black and white, it's a book about the reality of people needing to know, the society that expects everybody to know and care and fit into certain groups because of their own racial identity. And that's a good way of raising the question of what does race mean.
Owenby says Faulkner's novels still enlighten readers because the stories tackle universal themes that transcend time and place.
It has to do with class and with gender relations and sexuality and the future and all sorts of other topics. But that's part of making Faulkner real, is bringing up questions that are still interesting, complex questions.
In 1950, Faulkner won the Nobel Prize for Literature. In his speech, still famous, he said, "I believe that man will not merely endure, he will prevail." An optimistic note from a man who, strolling through the woods at Roanoke, often examined the darker side of the human soul. Greg Flakus, VOA News, Oxford, Mississippi.